Hello, and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup. We're going to cover the games from last night in the LCS, as well as the LPL and LCK games from this morning, and then preview the LPL, LCK, LEC games for tomorrow. Keep in mind, LCS week 1, day 3 is going on right now, and that will be in tomorrow's video. Predictions, I'm 58 and 17. That includes all the predictions on this board, in which case I believe I went 8 and 2. From yesterday. We're going to speed run this. There's not going to be a lot of recap involved because I'm trying to get this video out for you. LCS, Dignitas C9. Dignitas would lose, falling 0-2. C9 15th. The power rank is 2-0. Blabber was MVP on a Kha'Zix. Berserker 618, 30% of damage. Sven 3114 alongside him. So the bot lane 9222. Rich 341, 32% of damage on a K'Sante for Dignitas. Finally, he shows up after game 1 being an absolute disaster against Immortals, if I recall correctly. So he showed up. He solo killed Fudge twice. However, he was the only thing going for Dignitas, which is not a shock. As Blabber got around the rift, made things happen on Kha'Zix, and then Berserker started cleaning up team fights in the late game, but Blabber had opened up such a lead that it was pretty much over. TSM FlyQuest, TSM win, going to 1-1. Fly fell to 0-2, 16th in the power rankings. Boogie was MVP on Jarvan. Insanity 602, 34% of damage on LeBlanc. Chime 008 in support. Prince 021, 39% of damage for FlyQuest, dealing as much as he could, but could not get it done. Boogie very active on the J4, and really that was the difference. He had 100% KP as TSM started taking down the base, which I think sums it up very well. Insanity did well into Vikla and actually did very good in team fights as well. Much better than his first game. TSM, Haunter's doing his job. Just doing what Solo did the year before. Split before. Playing tanks, facilitating, and being the meatball. Wild Turtle not inting his face off. TSM win. FlyQuest are a tire fire. No one really showed up for them. 100 Thieves, TL, 100 Thieves, 19th in the power rankings, fall to 1-1 as Liquid win and are 2-0. Pioshik was MVP on Sejuani. Summit, 313, 31% of damage. Core JJ, 008. Nuke Duck in the loss, led 100 Thieves in damage, going 010, 33%. Pioshik was MVP on the Sejuani. He would solo kill the bot lane of 100 Thieves in the mid to late game. Literally, 1 by 1. It was a Felios Lulu against Sejuani, and Sejuani won. Kind of silly if you really think about it. Someday struggled into Summit. Summit gapped him up there pretty badly. Mid lane, Nuke Duck kind of just did what I expect a coach to do. Game 1 luster happened. Game 1 happened, but this one. TL are going to benefit from playing scrims against MSI teams. They're coming in hot. Rainover is now the coach. TL are a much different team and revitalized. And maybe they reach the potential they were supposed to get in spring, in summer with this roster. Doublelift and, Buzio, like I said, getting killed by Pioshik, but also not really taking advantage of Yeon like you would like them to. NRG Immortals, this was a disaster game where everybody lost, including the fans. IMT win 2-0 after being down 10k gold, down a shit ton of kills. They were absolutely smoked as NRG tried to kill the base twice, couldn't. Immortals finally turned around. Kenvi stole a Baron on Kha'Zix at one point. Just an ugly game. Tactical 858, 41% of damage on Aphelios. Solo was MVP, 517 on Ornn. FBI had 15 kills on Zeri, going 15-5-5 for 41% of damage in the loss. I do wonder if that is the most kills in a loss in LCS history. That's a lot of kills. That's going to be high up there on the list to begin with. And then with a loss, that's pretty incredible. Late game Tactical just dealt a ton of a ton of damage in fights. And Solo set up well on the Ornn. He had the Ornn items. He did not int his face off in the early game. He honestly was the only player that did not really take part in the losing part of the game for Immortals. Just kind of doing his thing, not hurting the team. Balulu was non-existent, in my opinion, but You know, Immortals found a way. Treats had 8 deaths after the game. He said he was representing the nutsack in which case, or sorry, repping the sack, a sack of acorns, or peanuts, or however you want to look at it. But I thought that was funny. I thought that was really funny. And IMT somehow get a win that they didn't deserve. Golden Guardians, EG 2-0. They win. Jojo Pune 8-4-4. 32% damage on Jace was MVP. Isla went deathless 0-0-13. Licorice on Rumble went 2-4-5. 32% of damage for Golden Guardians. Licorice tried to dive revenge in the early game. Jeez, I'm sweating. Tried to dive revenge in the early game and failed, dying under turret. And despite JoJo in the early game, I mean, Golden Guardians kept up with EG as River made things happen. Gory was a nuisance to JoJo, but when team fight started, JoJo came online, dealing a ton of damage, and Golden Guardians really had no answer. I am not going to be shocked if Golden Guardians kind of in this split after such a great first one. Their roster is what it is. It still lives and dies by Gory River, and anything else is hopium. LPL, Top Esports, LGD. Top Esports, 6-1 now, are fourth in the power rankings, winning 2-0. LGD fell to 0-7. Jackie Love was MVP, going 15-1-9, 40% of damage. Rookie, 6-1-16 in mid. Hai Chow, 4-7-6, 34% of damage for LGD. Jackie just dominating in the early game with Mark, putting Envy Jin Zhao in a hole. And then in the mid to late game, cleaning things up in game 1. Game 2, a lot slower for them, as it was more of the Tien show going around the rift, ensuring the team got ahead. LGD really didn't have much answer for Top. Top are the better team. And, I mean, Hai Chow did find some plays in the side lane. I think he played Syndra one game, and it looked okay. Hai Chow's put together a few good series in a row, despite LGD being 0-7. Top lane was a bit of a wash. Decade, in his first few starts, is playing some tough opponents. FPX RNG win. They're 23rd in the power rankings, now 3-3. FPX 1-5 in the 2-0 loss. Wei was MVP. LP 12-1-11, 27% of damage. Breathe 3-0-19 in top lane. LWX 4-6-5, 40% of damage, 41% in the loss. Wei on the Wukong and then the Kazakhs was all over the place. He was facilitating. He got them ahead in the early game. In game 2, game 1, he was all that kept RNG in it, because FPX really threw a good first punch, really got after RNG, but then the mid to late game blew it as RNG took over and LP took over, dealing a ton of damage when he had to. And then in game 2, Wei was just active, and that's all he really had to be, as RNG, weathered the storm and 2-0'd FPX Jala, who did not look great, as Breathe, goes deathless, but Breathe, even on tanks, was able to not fall too far behind, if at all. Mid lane, Tangwan was a glorified support, very good on the charms. Did not get a lot of kills, did not need a lot of gold, and that was nice to see, because frankly, he might be their worst player, and Care is FPX's best player, in my opinion, so that's a thing. Nip and Ultra Prime. Nip, 24th in the power rankings, go to 4-3, as Invincible as MVP in the 2-0 win over Ultra Prime, who are now 3-3. Angel, 12-2-12, 28% of damage. Photic, 10-1-11. Doggo, 5-6-5, 30% of damage in the loss. Invincible solo killed Harry in game 1 and game 2, I think twice in one of the games, putting him in quite a casket, and for that he ends up being MVP, because honestly Nip just dominated up in every which way, and I thought that was an interesting little solo thing on the side lane that occurred between two rookie top laners, or rather inexperienced top laners, so I thought that was nice to see. Forge is not good, so hopefully series like this make Ultra Prime rethink their choices there, as I think Ching signed with FPX Blaze, so they lost him, but maybe they can see the error of their ways for 2024. LCK, Nongshim, Genji. Genji third in the power rankings are now 4-0. Nongshim 1-2 as Genji win 2-0. Chovy was MVP, 718, 32% of damage. Pays 617. Quad 167, 28% in the loss. Chovy Peanut got after Quad and mid in the early game in both games, putting him in a bit of a diffy, and then Chovy would carry and facilitate in the mid to late game in both on Annie and Azir. Quad really just struggling as they went after him hard, which is a surprise because, like I said in the sneak peek yesterday, the bot lane was very good for Nongshim last time these two teams played in spring, and instead they ignored them and played towards mid and putting Chovy in a good position, which is interesting because Chovy had not been put in that position for quite a while here. So that was nice. Doran did very well in the side lane. Din Din was non-existent in my opinion. Sylvie pretty non-existent as Peanut outpaced him all over the place. KT, DRX. KT win 2-1. DRX 0-4. So KT 2-0. BDD was MVP. 13-2. 16. 31% of damage. Talia both games. Cuz 4-1-31 in the jungle. Podek 0-6-3. 30% of damage for DRX in the loss. So DRX tried to go top lane in game 1. That would fail. Then Krako would dive under the turret in a 1v2, and it didn't make much sense, and he would die, which got him benched for game 2. Just very ugly. Keen and Cuz in top lane really gapped Rascal Krako, then gapped Rascal Juhan. Every which way you look at this was a blowout. BDD was ahead of Kiahu by a large margin, which makes sense. BDD compared to Kiahu is like a 100-year-old person to it like a brand new baby. Like, it's truly a little bit of an experience diffy there, but nevertheless, he could not keep up. Drafting Melee into Talia makes absolutely no sense because Talia is going to go around the rift and make things happen, and you have a Melee mid laner that cannot keep up now. It made no sense from draft perspective. DRX are a disaster. So, KT win. They blow them out. It was pretty clear. Now on to the sneak peek for tomorrow. Okay, so sneak peek for tomorrow. LCK, Kwangdong Freaks, HLE, KDF are 17th in the power rankings. 2-1 coming off of a loss to Genji. HLE 11th, 1-2 coming off of a win against DRX. Last time these two teams played, HLE would win 2-0. All the players are the same. Zeka went 6-0-10 in the win, 27% of damage. Bulldog 2-7-0, 25% of damage in the loss. So that was one of HLE's better series in spring. And the way KDF played against Genji, this one is probably going to be pretty close. T1 Bro, T1 5th in the power rankings, 2-1, coming off of a win against Live Sandbox. Bro 1-2, coming off of the upset win against D+. T1 won last time 2-0. Zeus was dominant, 8-3-9, 30% of damage in top lane. Morgan was a glorified support, 3-5-2, 16%. Definitely be wary of this one after Bro just won. I do not think Ivory was the difference. I just think D+ fell asleep. Bro playing that slow style of play. T1 does struggle against Bro usually, so this is definitely a scary prediction here. LPL, OMG, IG, OMG 10th in the power rankings, 3-2, coming off of a win against Ninja in Pajamas. IG 1-4, coming off of a loss to EDG. OMG 1-2-0 in spring. The only matchup that remains the same is the bot lane, as IG are going to run Wen, Bashang, and Cryan in top jungle mid. So Abel PP God went 14-5-45 for 954 DPM, 38% in the win. On and Wink 2, 14-12, 665 DPM, so 300 less, and 44% of the share. So more share, less damage, not good. Weibo, Rare Atom. Weibo, 7th in the power rankings, 3-2, coming off of a win against LGD. Rare Atom, 2-3, coming off of a loss to LNG. Last time they played was last time they played was in spring. All these teams played in spring. Weibo won 2-1. The only matchup that is the same is Light and Asum. Rare Atom now have Zhaozhu in top lane. Weibo have Weiwei in the jungle. Rare Atom are starting Mole tomorrow over Strive. And then as support, there is Feather. So all we have is 80 carries. Light went 22-8-16 for 32% of damage in the win. Assume 13-10-19, 39% of damage in the loss. So Assume was more important than Light in that one in the damage department. LNG EDG, so this one's the best matchup on paper. LNG 4-2, 8th in the power rankings, coming off of a win against Rare Atom. EDG 12th, 2-3, coming off of a win against IG. When they played EDG won 2-0 in spring. 80 carries obviously not the same. Now it is Uzi versus Gala. Ale 808, 25% of damage in the win. Zika 054, 19% in the loss. That is a very interesting topside matchup. Ale dealt a ton of damage in that one. And I imagine Zika's going to want to, show that he is better than that performance. LEC, week 1, day 1 starts tomorrow. Vitality, 22nd in the power rankings. Mad Lions, 20th. When they played in spring, this is summer split, sorry. When they played in spring, Mad Lions won 3-1 in the playoffs. Niski, 22-10-31, 27% of damage in the win. Perks, 15-16-14, 33% of damage in the loss. I will say the jungle matchup is definitely more appealing on a nameplate basis. Elyoya and Bo in the conversation, if not clearly the top 2 junglers in the LEC. SK Team Heretics, last time they played, Team Heretics won in a best of 1. Roster changes, Heretics now have a new mid. Oh no, who's the mid? Oh no. Just 1 second. Sorry, Vethio's now a mid, and Flackett at 80 carries. So we're comparing top jungle support. Heretics went 9-5-44 with Evi, Yankos, Mursa, 870 DPM, 34%. Irrelevant Marcoon Doss went 3-16-11, 757 DPM, 39%. So 100 less DPM and more share. Not good. Koi XL, last time they played, Koi won. Roster changes compared to that one. XL now have Peach, a Korean import, in the jungle, as well as Koi have Advian at support instead of Trimby. So Sisgenda Larson Comp went 12-7-15 in the win for 2,201 DPM for 85% of the team's damage. Otawamne, Abadage, Patrick went 8-7-17 for 1,936 and 82% of damage. So XL actually dealt a lot of damage in this one compared to Koi. Koi obviously winning, so they dealt the most. But XL kept up 300 DPM less when it's 2,200 versus 1,900. I mean, that's a slugfest of damage. Obviously, all the carry roles being highlighted. G2 BDS, G2 14th in the power rankings, BDS 18th. Last time they played, G2 won the best of 1. Hansama 745, 29% of damage on a Twitch. Crowny 243, 32% in the loss. Fnatic Astralis, last time they played, Astralis won the best of 3, 2-1. Roster changes, Fnatic now have Noah and Trimby in bot lane. So we're comparing top jungle mid. Finn 113 leader went 23-30-58 for 1,367 DPM, 59% in the win. Oscarinin Razor Humanoid went 24-22 and 76 for 1,561 DPM, 73% in the loss. So think about that. They dealt more damage and then 73% in the loss. So Fnatic's top side of the rift was dominant versus Astralis's, but their bot lane nowhere to be found. Astralis's bot lane showing up, Kabe Younghoon, and that was the end of Reckless's ADC career. So at least maybe that was the end for Fnatic. We'll ignore that. It was towards the end, if not the end. I'm trying to get this video out. I'm stumbling all over the place. Stumbling and bumbling and fumbling. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter. And I hope to see you again tomorrow.